Have you been looking for a hamstring stretch that is easy to get into? Not super complicated, so don't worry, I'm not gonna make you do the splits or anything crazy. And importantly, less likely to hopefully cause you any aches or pains, because as good as it is to do certain exercises or stretches, if we're not careful and our body is in a very tight place, things can flare up. So being mindful of anything new that we start is important. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, join me now and get into this hamstring stretch. We're gonna take it nice and slow, and I'm gonna do my best to give you as much instruction as possible so that you can really connect with your body. So to keep this simple, we're gonna place our feet at about hip width apart, parallel. We then wanna make sure we have softness throughout our whole body, so just ease your shoulders, your hips, your knees in case they're locked out. Then we're gonna get into a hinged position. So from here, I'm gonna make sure my whole foot is flat on the floor. That means most of my weight, if you might have tight hamstrings, you might have a tendency to have a little bit more weight on your toes when you're in this position. So if that's the case, you might just need to bring your weight back to your heels and think about bringing your head this way and your butt that way. Then just being in this position, a stretch just instantly starts to turn on in the glutes and the hamstrings, and maybe you feel a little bit shaky if you've never done anything like this before. If this position just feels so unattainable for you, you could put your butt against the wall. And by having your butt against the wall, it's going to just kind of give you something to reference. I'll do a quick demo of that after. Then from here, when you're in this position, we're going to take one leg out and we're going to cross our fingers or interlace them, and we're gonna rest them on the non-stretched thigh. So while I'm in this position, my left hip is pushed back. This is really stabilizing me. You should feel that left glute turn on, or you might feel the thigh work. And then we're going to think about flexing the toes to our face of the stretched working leg. And then we're going to turn that out. And then we're going to turn the foot inwards, and then as I do that, I'm gonna just kind of like softly point my toes downwards. Nothing firm, nothing hard, just a soft little movement going downwards. And then this is going to help me create a nice smooth glide as I go out and in. So move back and forth like this for a few times. And then I challenge you to just hold it for a few seconds in each range. So you can kind of think of it as 1, 2, and 3. And if you notice one particular point is a little bit more meaningful for you, you are welcome to hold it at that point. And I'm gonna share with you a really important tip here, something that happens a lot, and this is how sometimes people get in a little bit of pain when they're doing certain stretches. They start initially good in this hinged over position, and then they bring that leg out, and then they just get a bit excited, and they notice they have got a bit of a bend in the knees. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna straighten my knee. And then as they straighten their knee, they kind of like unintentionally take their hips and start to curl them under like this a little bit much. And this is not ideal because now I don't feel any stretch. Ooh, it even hurts to demonstrate it. When I do that, I don't feel any stretch in my hamstrings. It completely goes away, and it looks like I'm super flexible because I've got no tension in that hamstring, but that is not what we wanna create here. I have to really think about keeping that hip pushed back, and then I'm nice and solid and stable, no pain in my back, and I feel a really good stretch all the way from my feet to my hips. So just pay attention to that, and the best little tip is just when you get started to make sure that you feel that weight on your heels, but of course your whole foot, but importantly, you might just need to have your hips pushed back a little bit. Okay, and as promised, as I mentioned, if you were struggling to feel your weight shift back, you could place your butt against the wall like so. And this just instantly just makes me feel, oh, okay, there's my butt. And now I can feel if I'm like this or if I'm like that, like this, like that. So when I touch the wall, I've got that hinge. And then I take a step away. Okay, just pretend I'm touching the wall now that I know what to reference. And then I get into the stretch. So there you go. I hope this was helpful. And if you've got any questions, maybe you want to see some different variations, or maybe you just have a question about something else related to fitness, don't be shy to drop it below down in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.